At exactly 9:42 on a Sunday night, Melissa Carter heard loud banging on her front door. When she opened it, 3 members of the HOA board were standing outside holding clipboards, while HOA President Sharon Whitmore handed her an envelope stamped with the words, "Emergency Community Violation." According to the notice, Melissa had 48 hours to remove the security cameras around her house or face heavy fines and possible legal action. Melissa stared at Sharon in disbelief because the cameras had only been installed after someone repeatedly vandalized her property for weeks. What Melissa didn't know yet was that Sharon wasn't trying to protect the neighborhood at all. She was trying to stop those cameras from recording something that could destroy her reputation completely. Melissa had moved into the Florida neighborhood after inheriting the home from her aunt. The community looked peaceful at first. Clean sidewalks, expensive landscaping, quiet streets lined with palm trees. But within weeks, Melissa realized the HOA controlled everything. Residents constantly whispered about HOA President Sharon Whitmore. She drove around daily searching for violations and treated the neighborhood like her personal kingdom. Most homeowners avoided confrontation because Sharon had been HOA president for years and was known for targeting anyone who challenged her authority. Melissa tried staying out of trouble. She followed every rule carefully. She even removed flower pots from her porch after receiving a warning claiming they were visually inconsistent with community standards. But strange things started happening around her property anyway. Someone threw trash into her yard late at night. Her garden lights were smashed twice. One morning, she found deep scratches along the side of her car. Every time Melissa reported the incidents, Sharon dismissed them as minor neighborhood disputes. But Melissa noticed something strange. The vandalism almost always happened shortly after she received new HOA warnings. Then, one evening, Melissa returned home and discovered her backyard gate hanging open. Her dog had escaped and was missing for hours before a neighbor found him wandering near a busy road. That night, finally, Melissa decided enough was enough. The next morning, she hired a company to install outdoor security cameras around her property. Less than 2 days later, Sharon appeared at Melissa's door, demanding the cameras be removed immediately. Sharon claimed the devices violated HOA privacy policies, even though no such rule existed in the handbook. Melissa politely refused. Sharon's expression instantly changed. She warned Melissa that certain residents would not appreciate being watched. The harassment escalated immediately afterward. Melissa began receiving violation notices every few days. One claimed her curtains were visible from outside in a way that damaged neighborhood aesthetics. Another accused her of leaving trash bins out too long. Then Sharon fined Melissa for excessive exterior lighting because one camera had a small motion sensor light attached. Within a month, the fines had climbed into thousands of dollars. Neighbors quietly warned Melissa that Sharon often targeted anyone who questioned her authority. One elderly resident admitted he had spent years paying fake fines simply to avoid retaliation. But everything changed late one Friday night when Melissa received a motion alert from her backyard camera. She opened the footage expecting another vandalism incident. Instead, she watched Sharon Whitmore herself entering Melissa's property through the side gate while carrying a spray paint can. The video clearly showed Sharon painting graffiti onto Melissa's fence before quickly leaving through the alley. Melissa couldn't believe what she was seeing. The next morning, Sharon personally delivered another HOA notice citing Melissa for offensive property markings visible to neighboring homes. Melissa immediately contacted police and showed them the footage. Sharon denied everything and accused Melissa of editing the video. Unfortunately for Sharon, Melissa's cameras kept recording. Over the next 2 weeks, the system captured several HOA members entering residents' properties late at night. One was seen placing trash bags in front of homes shortly before inspections. Another appeared to photograph violations that had clearly been staged intentionally.
Melissa realized Sharon wasn't simply abusing HOA rules. She had created a system of harassment designed to generate fines and intimidate homeowners into silence. Melissa began speaking privately with neighbors and quickly discovered dozens of similar stories. One couple nearly lost their home after fines suddenly exploded over landscaping violations. Another family had moved away entirely after years of targeted harassment. Then, a former HOA accountant named Victor contacted Melissa anonymously through email. Victor claimed he had resigned months earlier after discovering suspicious financial activity connected to Sharon and several board members. He secretly met Melissa at a diner outside town and brought copies of financial documents. The records showed thousands of dollars missing from HOA budgets over several years. Expensive restaurant charges, hotel stays, and unexplained cash withdrawals had all been reimbursed through HOA funds. Victor admitted Sharon intentionally used harassment campaigns to pressure homeowners into paying massive fines quickly. Melissa immediately hired an attorney named Rebecca Sloan, who specialized in HOA cases. Rebecca reviewed the camera footage and financial documents and realized how serious the situation was. She filed lawsuits demanding access to HOA records while also notifying county investigators about possible fraud. Sharon reacted exactly as expected. She held an emergency HOA meeting accusing Melissa of conducting a campaign of surveillance against the community. Sharon attempted to pass new HOA rules banning all exterior security cameras entirely. But this time, residents finally started fighting back publicly. One homeowner demanded Sharon explain why multiple board members appeared on security footage entering private properties late at night. Another accused Sharon of selectively targeting homeowners who questioned HOA finances. The room erupted into shouting. Then Rebecca connected a projector to the meeting room television and played clips from Melissa's security cameras in front of everyone. The room watched silently as Sharon spray-painted Melissa's fence before later issuing a violation over the same damage. Another clip showed a board member dumping trash onto a homeowner's lawn. Residents were horrified. Sharon tried claiming the videos lacked context, but nobody believed her anymore. Then Victor entered the meeting carrying boxes of financial records and handed copies directly to county investigators who had quietly arrived earlier that evening. Everything collapsed for Sharon within days. Investigators uncovered years of financial fraud involving HOA funds, fake contractor invoices, and manipulated violation records. Multiple homeowners filed lawsuits accusing the HOA board of harassment and abuse of authority. News stations began covering the scandal after footage from Melissa's cameras spread online. Sharon eventually resigned as HOA president, but investigators later charged her and 2 other board members with fraud and misuse of community funds. Several homeowners facing foreclosure had their fines dismissed entirely after courts ruled the violations were fraudulent. For Melissa, the ordeal completely changed how she viewed the neighborhood. What looked like a peaceful suburban community had actually been controlled through fear for years. But something positive finally emerged from the chaos. Residents who once stayed silent began attending meetings regularly and demanding transparency. A completely new HOA board was elected within months. Financial oversight rules were introduced, and future meetings were required to be recorded publicly. As for Sharon Whitmore, neighbors later learned she quietly moved out of state after facing multiple lawsuits. Ironically, before leaving, her own house received several HOA complaints because the lawn had been left severely overgrown for weeks.